Welcome to Road America for Ava's Race Against Cancer, a Week 13 special event of the Pro Mazda Championship for the end of Season 3, 2017. All the action is on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacing Live. Qualifying action coming up next. Located near Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, in the USA, we welcome you to Road America, which hosts Ava's Race Against Cancer, a Week 13 special event of the Pro Mazda Championship for the end of Season 3, 2017. All coverage today on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacing Live, around the 6.5 kilometers, 4 miles, depending on your units of choice of Road America. Clockwise layout, as you can see to the right-hand side of the screen, 14 turns here today, 9 of those to the left, the other 5 to the right, and that will challenge the drivers today for 50 minutes of racing action. We're currently in our 10-minute qualifying session, but look at the beautiful sunny skies here we have today for a charity race where, you know what, this is what Week 13 is all about. It's about having fun, it's about producing great racing, it's all for a good cause. Good afternoon, everybody. Jonathan Simon in the commentary booth alongside Cam Walsh, Hugo Luis behind the scenes in production. And Cam, here we are, Week 13, Road America. A fairly simple circuit, I'd say. No real hairpins, lots of medium speed corners, but there's some great overtaking spots here today that will suit everybody in the Formula Renault.
Well, absolutely, and in the Pro Mazda. You've got quite a couple of areas that you can really sort of heckle and push your way through if you really need to. We're just hoping for a good race, obviously for one of the best causes you can possibly imagine. But yeah, Canada Corner, which is your back half of the racing circuit after your very long stretch after the kink. That's pretty much where you're going to see an absolute ton of action, as well as corner number, I believe it's 5 officially. It's really right after the start-finish line. You take that double right. There's a little kink in the road that's considered a turn, and then right there, that little left-hander, and then on that uphill left-hander to Corvette, under the Corvette bridge. You'll see a lot of action there, a lot of two-wide action especially. You can probably stay two-wide all the way to the carousel if you wanted to.
Yep, and that carousel Cam talks about is a very long right-hander, downhill, really challenges the drivers, and in an open wheeler with all this downforce, you think it'd be easy, but it's not. So definitely a challenge here today. But this race, the storyline, Ava Sierra Deal has been diagnosed with neuroblastoma cancer, and this form of cancer is most commonly found in young children, and if caught early enough, is treatable. So any donations that you could spare would be greatly appreciated to help this family in their time of need. Donations will be used to help with medical costs, travel, and any further costs the family needs to cover to help deal with this very, very unfortunate situation. And you can, of course, donate using the GoFundMe link in the YouTube description below. So definitely get onto it, Cam. And this is the beauty of Week 13.
Well, it is. You know, people are always so focused on the highest of high races every single season. You know, people want to have a very good season, a season being a 12-week section here on iRacing of a series. and it ends up, you know, you put a lot of focus into that. Well, week 13 is kind of our relaxing thing. We get to have fun with it. And this is probably one of the best causes that we've had so far. I think I've raised something like 2,300-ish so far. And hopefully that'll keep climbing ever higher, because this is a very, very good cause. And frankly, the car that we're choosing to do it in is a very, very fun car, the Pro Mazda.
Yeah, the Pro Mazda, which was previously known as the Star Mazda, but in 2017 they've branded it as the Pro Mazda, as Cam spoke about. And let's have a look at the qualifying time so far. It's a man named Gabriel Perez on the top of the timing screens, just joined by Javier Sanchez, who crosses the line, and Perez with a 2-minute 2.0. Do you think anybody will crack into that 1-minute 59 barrier, perhaps?
No. I don't. I think if we can get 2:01.8, I'd say we are on a barnstormer. The track temperature is a bit hot, 97 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a bit, it's warm. They go pretty good around this track, though. I have to say that the Pro Mazda is I probably got to say one of my favorite machines here on iRacing. It was the first one that I got my first quote real win outside of rookies. I actually won back-to-back at Watkins Glen, so I was really excited about that. I really enjoyed the car, and the community is good. And even though it's I have to say that the iRacing's changed a lot since 2012, since I was a racer before I was a commentator. But yeah, that's the community's still there, and the community's still nice, and it's great to see them come together and do something like this.
Yeah, definitely. So only a couple of minutes remaining in qualifying, and this will set out the grid here today. About 29 drivers. So we're looking down the order as well. Michael Calburn, Eric Yeager, Will Sutton down there, 12th, 13th, 14th. The timing really, really tight at the moment. P5 all the way down to P11, separated by about 0.8 of a second. So plenty of time to make up here, Cam, as they come towards the end of the lap, where the track starts to rubber up and the lap times start to decrease into that 2-minute 1 barrier, possibly.
Yeah, track is moderate usage, and I'm kind of keeping my eye on that number 23, Javier Sanchez, and Gabriel Perez, I'm sure, has probably got your eyes, though he's not on track right now, so he's settled with that 202 flat. We'll see here crossing the line at 202.136, whittling it down ever closer. But yeah, the field seems to be a little bit split with lap times, but you know what? That's really not the most important thing. I'd have to say. We've got tons of people here, 30 people, I believe, in the session so far, and that's great to see.
Yep, definitely. So that was Javier Sanchez in P2, who is currently only a 10th away from Perez, who's quite optimistic of his lap time if he thinks he can hang on to pole for the race event. Only a few seconds left in qualifying now. Julian Dunn in third. He's heading through turn 6 and 7 at the moment, behind a bit of traffic. See if anybody else can knock him off the second row. There's some battles going on though, Cam. You'd think 29 cars or 30 cars spread over this entire qualifying session. You'd think there'd be more space and more track room, but everybody's starting to trip over each other towards the end of the session.
Yeah, just hopping up my track map. I mean, if you really waited and timed it right, you certainly could find yourself an open spot, but the moment that you make a mistake, you're going to need some time to rest and relax, and that ends up causing you to find another car. I mean, this is a 4-mile track, yet, you know what? It's these cars, they still manage to take up a lot of room simply because of how heavy they have to throw into the corners in order to get that downforce working.
Yep, so it's the end of the lap here. Let's follow Julian Dunn again, because he's got a chance here with a bit of slipstream, although he had traffic, to possibly climb his way onto the front row. Here he is through turn 14, the final quarter, onto the main straight, and using some nice toe from the car in front. Can he improve himself up onto the front row? Julian Dunn, here he comes. And improves the pole position for Julian Dunn. Just got it when it counted. Only driver into the 2-minute 1 barrier range. Brilliant lap time there, Cam.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Right to the top of the pillars at a 201.8. Like I said, what did I say? 201.8. That's That's what I said. But no, the number 26 car was the fastest in practice, so naturally fastest in qualifying. So it's a great. It looks like we're gonna have a fantastic race up front. But we're still going to have good battles down in the bottom of the rest of the field as well.
Yep, so that rest of the field Cam's talking about is still being sorted here. The likes of Brenton Parker in P12. He comes through Bill Mitchell Bend towards the end of his lap. And is he going to perhaps improve? He's pretty much the last driver, apart from Liam Kerr, all the way down in P22, who is on a hot lap. Here's Brenton Parker now to cross the line under the bridge and across the very long main straight, which will be so useful in the race. To Parker, P12. Where does he improve? Improves his time, but not his position. 2-minute 3.487. Let's have a look at Liam Kerr in P22. He crosses the line as well, and he sets. Doesn't improve his time, actually. Sets another lap time. Not enough to improve his position from P22. But that is qualifying all but over for Ava's Race Against Cancer here for Week 13. Season 3. 2017 for the Pro Mazda Championship. Let's have a look at the grid. So it's Julian Dunn on pole position with that late lap time just ahead of Gabriel Perez. Behind them on the second row, Guillermo Valenzuela and Javier Sanchez. Petteri Ruotsalainen and Hayden Gober in P5 and P6. The rest of your top 10 on the screen. Jake Feineman, Fabio Aoki, Daniel Morris, and Eric Jaeger in the 2-minute 3.362 range. So quite a bit off pole position from Julian Dunn. Then outside the top 10, we have Aldous Putekilis, Brenton Parker, Jim Lakely, Craig Ridley down there in P14. Michael Calburn, Will Sutton, they couldn't separate themselves down in the mid-pack. They start on that 8th row in 15th and 16th. The rest of the grid, Joshua Theodore, Don Bowden, Lewis Zamparelli, Douglas Woodside round out your top 20. Then it's Jason Brassfield, Liam Kerr all the way down in P21 and 22. That 12th row shared by Jason Wallett and Alan Jolly. Here we go. Fabrice Boyson, David Wellborn Jr., Ron Wallace, Anthony Sampson. Rounding out the grid, it's Ryan Cullen and Matt Schaefer. Those last 4 drivers did not set a lap time. As we head to the race cam, a very long run down to turn 1, over 600 meters. What's the challenge for these guys here at the start?
Well, it's getting that start right. Of course, standing starts are always dramatic, especially in these open wheel machines. Thankfully, though, not too much power, so they should be able to get away without necessarily having a big issue. Now, getting into turn 1, we're actually going to be getting to pretty decent speed before we hit turn 1, so that could possibly have some dramas. But I will say we've got drivers from all over the world here, from Australia to Texas to the UK and I to Finland to Canada to Brazil here today for a very good cause, and very happy to see that. And hopefully we can have a good clean race and nobody goes too crazy in a corner 1. We can get a good run.
Yep, so 50 minutes of racing action coming up, and as Cam said, it's going to be very speedy going down into turn 1. Let's hope nobody does a Jacques Villeneuve and accidentally takes to the grass and takes out a few drivers. No, sorry, Jacques, but that was hilarious that year that it happened. Here they go, though, taking to the grid. And Julian Dunn, well, he's made his chances a lot better starting on that inside line now. It's not the clean side of the grid, though. Will that impede him at the start? He will have the inside line, though, going into turn 1. 630 meters exactly, all the way to turn number 1. The lights illuminate, the engines rev here. And we go green for 50 minutes of racing. Perez gets a great jump on that cleaner side. He's going to go alongside Julian Dunn here heading into turn 1. Valenzuela behind cannot do anything. Javier Sanchez drops down the order a little bit, but it is Julian Dunn leading into turn 1. Perez follows behind. He's going to run out of that first corner now heading into turn 3. Goes for the switchback. No chance, though, heading into turn number 3.
Yeah, everyone getting into single file. A clean start. That's exactly what we wanted to see here, as we've got a couple of good runners in the middle of this pack, making that run down to the very quick corners to the left, right. And everyone seems to be working on there. Julian Dunn almost getting a little bit of competition from Valenzuela. But on the outside, nope, there's not going to be there. So Julian Dunn will be able to keep their starting position as we head into the back half of Road America.
Yeah, Valenzuela's got a great jump off the line, and now he finds himself into P2. Here they come through the middle sector, and it looks like they're all starting to form up here towards the middle part of the lap. Action down the back order of the field. Ron Wallace in P24. Car off on the side of the racetrack. Is that... it looked like Don Bowden, possibly more cars off there in front. Liam Kerr takes to the gravel, and he looks like he's got terminal damage there, Cam, and he's pushed into the wall too, and looks like his race will be over. Unfortunately, he will get a fast repair though.
Yes, he will, as long as he gets to pit lane, but looks to me like Kerr was, he picked up front suspension damage, and then somebody managed to clip his rear wheel, and that has caused him to have the issues. But either way, though, I will say, outside of that singular issue, we've had a fairly good first lap here, and looking for position 8 or 9 right now is Eric Yeager in that 88 car is currently side-by-side. Miolis Putaklis, I believe, he's in car number 19 as they first time.
Yep, here he goes alongside Putaklis. And he just doesn't have the straight line speed because Puteklis gets a bit of a draft from Fabio Aoki in front, and that's going to help him heading into turn 1 here for the first time around. But no position changes then. But at the end of the first lap, it's Julian Dunn who leads by 0.2 of a second ahead of Guillermo Valenzuela. Perez and Rutsalainen in 3rd and 4th. Then it's Javier Sanchez who drops down from his 4th position at the start, starting out currently in 5th. Couple positions gained for Jake Feinerman. Hayden Gober drops down a position as well, rounding out the top 10. It's this battle we're looking at with Fabio Aoki, Aldous Puteklis, and Eric Yeager heading into the Moraine Suite now, Cam.
Yeah, and they're working fairly good right now on this start. Yep, working towards corner number 5 is the back half of this field. As just is going to be is one of those things where when you got a long race like this, you want to make sure that you're getting into your rhythm more than anything. You'd hate to have a damage on this car early on, as there's side-by-side action for the car number 30 for position 20. Ron Wallace versus Jason Brassfield. So very close there. A little bit of front-end damage on that number 20 car, I noticed.
And look at Jason Brassfield livery, by the way. That's absolutely amazing. It's the 787B, right? That's what it reminds me of. So good stuff there for Jason Brassfield. He's right behind Ron Wallace, and he looks like he's just caught a bit of dirty air or just lack of grip coming through the carousel. Now he's under attack from Alan Jolly. Oh, this isn't going to end well. Side by side into the bend. Oh, man. And I'm into the kink there, side by side. That was never going to end well, and he just turned in confidently there, Jason Brassfield.
I mean, he turned right across because he went, you know what? His spotter probably never even said anything about him being there, but you know what? It worked out for him as Aoki, I believe, has some issues.
Yep.
There's a car slow going down Canada corner. That's Fabio Aoki.
That is Fabio Aoki. Drivers have to watch out to avoid him. And look at the rear wing there. That's bent, and he's going to try and make it. Yep, so replays on. We saw the incident there. Cam, talk us through it.
Yeah, it was the exit of Canada corner. They, as we saw the replay, they made wheel-to-wheel contact, which in these open-wheel cars don't necessarily work, but for Fabio Aoki, he'll come on to pit lane, he'll get his fast repairs sorted out and sorted away, get the car fixed, and he'll be back on the racing circuit.
Yep, and let's have a look at Brenton Parker here. He's alongside. Is that Josh Theodore? It is. Theodore makes his way past, and Brenton Parker, we know, thanks to him for all his help in organizing this event. But look at 3Y battling up ahead. Puteklis, Yeager, Daniel Morris too. Oh, is this going to end well here going into the Moraine Sweep? And good driving from all 3 of them. Hats off to them. And I'm not sure who. Oh, yeah, there is.
Liam Kerr, and actually, okay, nothing went wrong. They just pulled off, and they must have had to have go, which is very unfortunate. But you know what? Real-world emergencies kind of take precedent.
So, well, what kind of real-world emergencies? Maybe going to the toilet, perhaps. Here they go, though. Still battling away is Lewis Zambelli. He's behind Brenton Parker, who we mentioned, Cam. Brenton Parker's done a lot in support of this event, and we got to give... got to tip the glass to him, or raise the glass, excuse me, tip the hat. I'm getting my phrases mixed up.
Don't tip the glass or raise the hat, because then it'll just look weird. But yes, no, Brenton Parker putting this all together. The Floridian, which of course, hopefully everything will be all right with, of course, the impending hurricane. But you know what? Getting this thing organized together. The paint special run that special Children's Neuroblastoma Cancer Foundation paint scheme. So he's out there and he's putting it on the line, that 46 car. And you know what? For all things considered, we've had a fairly clean start here. I know obviously there have been a couple of incidents, a couple of cars that have had to retire, but you know, for the most part, it's been staying pretty clean.
Yep, it has. And the battle for the lead starting to get quite feisty here as Valenzuela is looking at Julian Dunn for first position. At the end of the straight, they're only 1/10 apart, so they go through turn 3 now, and it looks like Dunn's got the exit. He looks a lot more confident, Julian Dunn, and these two are starting to break away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, quite a bit so. And Xavier Sanchez is sitting there in the back, just kind of watching along there. And what is that? A Repsol paint scheme, I believe. Yes, it is. But you know what? He's getting pretty hunted by Gabriel Perez, Petteri, Ruud Salainen, and Jake Feinerman. Feinerman, way easier to say. But either way, it's sort of broken out into little groups here, and that's interesting because you get to watch every little group as they fight.
Yeah, well, talking about the names, that goes to show the vast amount of drivers we have here from around the world. Hats off to all the Australians, because I'm biased, to wake up at this time of the morning and race. Good job to them. They don't get their Sunday sleep in, but everybody else from Europe, from anywhere in Europe, really, South America, Finland. North America, Finland too. And, well, Finland because of their difficult names, right? That's why we have to mention them. But moral of the story is, you mentioned the hurricane all the way there in the US. It's just not good weather, but it's good to see that these guys are still safe enough to race.
Well, yeah, and it's not just that, but you talk about just where the time is for some people. I mean, it is currently 3:08 in the morning in Finland. So either way, thanks very much for these guys for showing up. And of course, how to get into to this race, of course, they have all donated money to the cause for Ava's help with cancer, as Xavier Sanchez looking to go to the inside of Ruud Salainen. A little bit of wheel touch there as they go almost 3 wide to the start-finish line, take out a couple of cones, and they will go now into corner number 1. Xavier Sanchez, very nice on the inside on top of Gabriel Perez for position number, should be 4.
No, Gabriel Perez, though, that's a double whammy. Oh, and off the racetrack there is Sanchez, but he doesn't lose too much time. Perez had the double whammy. He lost 2 positions, and it was very, very feisty with the drivers behind. Here they are alongside each other again there. Sanchez and Rutsalainen continuing away into turn 5, and it looks like Xavier Sanchez climbs his way into 3rd, going for the switchbackers, Petteri Rutsalainen side by side into 6th. And making his way through, finally, is Xavier Sanchez. Good scrap there.
Yeah, this is a good running and clean running here. Even they're running extremely tight, and they're not even really losing the front pack that much. As Xavier, he's just trying to get away just a little bit. I don't think that anyone has the lap times for Julian Dunn and Golmero Valenzuela. I've said it right all along. I mean, I had to stumble somewhere, but yeah, for Sanchez and Petri, it's been good battling between those two, and he managed to get up ahead and defend his position, and that's what he wants. We'll see what he can do.
Yep. So battles throughout the field anyway. Oh, it looks like Alan Jolly spun though. He's all the way down in P20. He's in the number 28 car there. And that front wing looks, well, it looks horrid. And so it looks like his race may be done. Yep, so incident there, Cam, and not good for Alan Jolly.
No, it looks like he kind of, oh, you know what? Both of these drivers had solo incidents at the same time.
Yep, so just tripping, well, not really tripping over each other, just getting distracted by each other. But a scrap here with Ryan Cullen, Lewis Zambelli heading into Canada corner, and it looks like Zambelli's collected a couple cars, rejoining the racetrack, and the suspension's damaged there. Another car off ahead too. Oh, goodness me, Cam. Drivers starting to lose their concentration here. We're only 10 minutes into the event.
Yeah, of course, this is going to be a long race. They do have a faster pair, but you know it doesn't do much. You'd rather use it, you know, when you get to the race. But either way, though, the 69 car has gone past the 23 car of Xavier Sanchez. Meanwhile, and Gabriel Perez and Jake Feinerman have been watching this battle along, and they've been trading positions throughout this, and hopefully they've been using that draft to keep in touch with the leaders.
Yep, and they're still battling here on the exit, but I think they're all going to form up again. Same formation as last lap, with Sanchez, Rotsalainen, and Perez third, fourth, and fifth. Behind them, Jake Feinerman getting very close here, so he's in that number 16. Look out for him. If they keep battling, he'll be right up there, but we have to wait a long way for Hayden Gerber in P7, so they have a bit of breathing room. Hayden Gerber in that lovely mild 7 livery there. I'm loving the liveries here today, Cam. Everybody's spiced it up for the Week 13 event.
Yeah, well, I don't normally get to watch and cover Pro Mazdas, so it seems like everyone is... They are going side by side by the wave. Through the kink was Xavier Sanchez and 69 of Petteri Ruotsalainen. But either way, these guys are almost looking to go 3 wide into Canada corner. Gabriel Perez doesn't know which way to make up his mind. He'll go to the inside of Xavier Sanchez. Will he have the position? No, he's trying. He's moving around. I think that's why I like these cars so much. They've got enough speed and pep with downforce that they're moving around so much. You can see how sudden of maneuvers that these guys make. That's all control. And this is, of course, a sequential gearbox, too. So, great times here at Road America with these Pro Mazda cars. They're putting on a great show here, yes.
Yeah, and what a battle we have. And let's continue round 2 here. It's Sanchez and Rotsalainen alongside each other heading into turn 1. Oh, it's so close. Have a look at Jake Feinerman too. He's very, very close to Gabriel Perez, but they all continue and form up on the exit at turn 1. And it's so bumpy there at Bill Mitchell Bend and Canada Corner, Cam. Oh, and there's a crash too. Eric Jaeger at turn 1. And that car's demolished. Let's have a look at the replay there. And it looked like, oh, Cam, I'm not sure what happened there. Just a lot of miscommunication with it.
Look to me like, oh, you know what? Looked like to me like a car left pit lane, which didn't have any effect in this. Okay, all right, let's... Oh, you know what? I almost wonder if Hayden Gerber was giving room to the incoming car and didn't see Jaeger there and ended up having that incident because of it, which would be very unfortunate.
Yeah, but Gerber there just, you'd have to, yeah.
Shout out to the trees, by the way. They do a very good job of giving maximum coverage to the space that's supposed to be in front of the cameras. We appreciate them so very much.
Yeah, Hugo Luis on production as we go back live. And yeah, the trees never help here, but they are good for the environment. Let's have a look back. Good for racing action is Sanchez, Rotsalainen, and Perez. They're all still close to each other again. And don't forget, this is the battle for that final podium position. I know it's week 13, Cam, but for pride anyway, it's good. Here they come alongside each other into Canada corner. Making it 2 by 2 is Jake Feinerman behind through the exit. And they're a bit cleaner this time around, but they're all starting to set themselves up for the run across the main straight. Here they go through the bumpy Bill Mitchell Bend. Final corner, trail braking, right-hander on the throttle, trying to get as much speed onto the main straight to begin another lap.
Yeah, to begin another lap indeed. Brenton Parker, by the way, moving up 1 position over David Wellborn Jr. Wellborn Jr. Running an extraordinarily famous paint scheme from American racing heritage. But Parker having moved up 1 more position. But yeah, Road America very popular as Xavier Sanchez. This group of 4 cars is showing why this is such a popular racetrack. Look at how these cars are all just moving around. They're just, it's almost a bit like watching karting because of how fast they're able to change their trajectory here.
Yeah, and sorry, I was getting so excited there. It looked like it was getting very close between Feinerman and a couple of other drivers. And if you like this racing action, we are actually going to broadcast some more races of the Pro Mazda Championship next season. So definitely stay tuned for that on the RaceSpotTV website and iRacing Live, as well as the iRacing website too. This is Ava's Race Against Cancer, though, a Week 13 special event. And with 35 minutes remaining, we hope you're enjoying the time. Don't forget, You can donate using the GoFundMe link in the YouTube description below. But the top 5 now, currently Julian Dunn leading from Guillermo Valenzuela, Javier Sanchez, Ruotsalainen, Perez, Feinemann behind in P6. That's the battle we've been looking at for the last few laps. Really the most exciting battle on track, I'd have to say. And it's getting us all excited in the commentary booth. Jonathan Simon here on hand in the commentary booth alongside Cam Walsh, Hugo Luis behind the scenes on production. And here we go, Cam. More battles coming up. Heading into Canada corner, possibly? No, they're all a bit far behind at the moment.
They're, yeah, I think they've realized how dramatic the battling has been. They're settling it down, probably at least for the rest of this lap. But either way, though, Xavier Sanchez and the gang has been putting on a very good show. Jake Feinemann, he's been hovering in the back. He's just waiting. He's able to keep up and work his way through, and so it's good to see. And here comes the Mr. Gaming Gabriel Perez car. Maybe no, actually. They'll sit behind that number 69 car as they work their way towards corner number 1. One more time. We're already on lap number 9. Can you believe it?
Yep, so on lap number 9, we know we are tracking this event through our timing screen anyway. Still 33 minutes remaining. And look at this battle between Ryan Cullen. Will Sutton is getting very close through the final corner here. And Will Sutton started this race in 16th. Well, what about Ryan Cullen, Cam? He started this race all the way down in P29. Did not set a lap time in qualifying. Ron Wallace in front, who's in 11th, also started this race from P27. So those guys from the back of the grid making up time. Will Sutton, though, goes straight through, and he snatches P12 away from Ryan Cullen.
Yeah, he absolutely does. And these guys are still working on fighting a little bit of front wing damage on Ryan Cullen's vehicle. But either way, though, Will Sutton, he's got that, I would call that lightning a la 1984 on that Will Sutton machine. It looks good. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It looks good. I always like it. But my first open wheel Formula car, I actually had a theme very similar to that. But either way, Will Sutton, he's working his way through. The field's getting a little bit spread out, but you know what? What battles we still have are very good. You still got the leaders still very close together. And actually, let's check on them. Julian Dunn and Guillermo Valenzuela. Why do I have such an issue with Valenzuela?
No, you got it right.
I know I got it right, but I still stuttered. But either way, Valenzuela and Dunn are having a good battle. It's not a battle per se, but they are very close to each other.
You see how much the toe makes a difference here, because Dunn and Valenzuela, they haven't been battling much, and they've separated themselves from the rest of the pack by 10 seconds, and that's because all those drivers of Sanchez, Ruotsalainen, Perez, Feinemann, they've been constantly battling lap after lap, and they're going to repeat that here again across the main straight as Ruotsalainen goes alongside Javier Sanchez. Perez behind, under attack from Jake Feinemann. 2x2 heading into turn 1. Perez sends it deep into the braking zone, and he picks it up on the exit too. Look at this battle here, as now, there's Ruotsalainen trying to squeeze Sanchez just a touch onto the grass. Perez up the inside. Can he take 2 positions in one corner on the exit? Let's have a look.
It's almost like they look like they're running a pace lap right now, but they're running at 135 miles an hour down here, down the moraine sweep into corner number 5. Who's going to come out on top of this one? The outside is a little bit more powerful than you might think. It doesn't always go to the inside guy, but they managed to make it work. That's the most important thing, Johnny. They are making it work, and it's great to watch.
Yeah, through the exit, Ruotsalainen got the best run out of here, and that's going to help him. But Perez lost out, and he looked like the most aggressive and the quicker out of the bunch. So sometimes you don't always get what you deserve, although he has to probably be a bit smarter with the battles there. He's just been at the wrong place at the wrong time. Every time he's positioned his car, coming out of a corner on the entry. But now have a look at this, Cam. Aldous Putekilis behind. He joins the battle. This is going to be a 5-way scrap for the rest of the event, as we now have just under 30 minutes remaining.
Now, hopefully nothing goes wrong with these guys. I mean, these guys are cutting razors so close that any wrong move could potentially have an incident. But I like how they're all hanging together. Oh, there's your incident.
And Putekilis under braking looked to take out one of the drivers there. Might have been Perez or Sanchez. Yeah, Sanchez, though, does he have terminal damage? It was quite a hard shunt. And let's have a look at the replay there, Cam.
All right, so what it looks like happens to me is that Putiglis comes on in. He almost locks it up, and I think he reflexively lets off the brake because he doesn't want to lock up. And he taps the rear of the 23, who comes across in front of the 230. 230 had nowhere to go. Once they got tangled up, it's an open-wheel car. There's nowhere for them to go. It's unfortunately split up this amazing battle that we've been watching. But it does have the potential to allow third and fourth, Petri Ruotsalainen and Jake Feinerman, to potentially work together to catch up.
Yeah, so Sanchez now into the pits. He's going to get that fast repair, and there's just nothing that he could do. And sorry, just having a bit of banter behind the scenes here. As Jake Feinerman now is currently in P4, Ruotsalainen in front in third. So what's happened there too? We had Sanchez who's out. Michael Calburn's also into the pit lane. So everybody here is at this stage of the event. I don't know, the whole field's shaken up. We'll go through it in a second. But now we find the drivers of, for example, as we see the number 30 there, Ron Wallace spinning off the racetrack. But we see that the field's spread out quite a bit. Ryan Cullen, Anthony Sampson, P29, P28 at the moment. But that was at turn 6 for Ron Wallace, Cam. A very difficult left-hander, uphill, blind, and that's where you lose the rear end quite easily.
Yeah, just lost the rears. No, nothing too crazy. Lost the rears, collected back up, and he's back out and ready to go. So Ron Wallace, of course, the Northwestern driver, the Northwestern Club of the United States driver, and he's going to continue on past the kink and almost let himself get catch up by Hayden Gober and David Wellborn Jr.
Yeah, you don't think for Julian Dunn and Guillermo Valenzuela, P1 and P2, you don't think Valenzuela's taking it easy at this point of the event? Finds it unnecessary to battle? I think he's done a very smart thing there, is to say, let's break away from the rest of the pack, and then he might actually battle a little later on, because he always gets very close into turn 1, but he seems to be taking it easy there. So yeah, for Valenzuela, maybe he's just planning an attack towards the end of the event.
Yeah, he's saving fuel. That's what he's doing. I know it might seem like a too simple of an answer, but it really is. Yeah, he's saving fuel behind Julian Dunn, and you know what? That means that when they come in and get fuel, they will need to get some fuel, and hopefully, at least if everything goes to plan, that Valenzuela's vehicle will need less fuel than Dunn's vehicle. Because Dunn obviously has been the one that's been breaking that wind. Meanwhile, of course, for the AVA fundraiser, they've managed to get at least some more money in that fundraising pot. They're up to $2,400, and that's very good. So we've had about 7 or 8 people donate some money during this race, and that's a very good thing.
Yep. So good to see the coverage here. Good to see many drivers. And many fans as well, possibly staying, and we welcome you tuning into this event, and it's been a good one so far. Lots of battling, a bit of scruffy driving here and there, but that's motor racing for you. Everybody's human here, unless you're Martin Kroenke, of course. So now head towards Canada corner in turn 12. Valenzuela and Julian Dunn, the battle for the lead, getting quite close. It is the closest battle on track, actually, apart from Ruotsalainen and Feinerman behind for P3 and 4. They're the sole survivors of the whole incident that took place at this corner. There are the tombstones of a few drivers there at turn 12, Canada corner. The left-hander of Bill Mitchell Bend, Cam, it's similar to turn 6 in a way, the left-hander. Uphill, blind. There's a little bit of a bump there on the exit too. You don't know what to do. The car can get very unsettled very easily.
It can, and especially this car, the rear is so close to the bottom, so low to the ground, that you can actually hit a bump and send your rear wheels skyward, but only for a moment, and it's enough to break your traction and potentially kind of skirt you out. Once you land, obviously, your suspension then bellies, and it'll slow you down. It can be a pretty rude awakening sometimes, as there's the fight for the lead. There's Julian Dunn, just like that. Guillermo Valenzuela has been waiting, and you know what? He decided, well, I'm just going to go now on corner number 5. That was as easy as pie.
Yep. And just as we pass the 50% distance mark in this event, it looks like Valenzuela's finally taken the lead. All 12 laps so far have been led by Julian Dunn. And this time around, it looks like Valenzuela could be running away with that advantage. Let's have a look at the battle for P4. Behind, Ruotsalainen has swapped positions with Jake Feinerman. And this is the perfect time now to go through our race leaders and our grid for Ava's Race Against Cancer, a Week 13 special event for the Pro Mazda Championship. It is Valenzuela who leads just ahead of Julian Dunn behind. That battle's heating up here as they head to Canada Corner. Looks like Julian Dunn has finally let him through and wants to slipstream and save some fuel possibly to end this race. Behind them, it's Jake Feinerman and Ruotsalainen battling for that final podium position. The sole survivors of the fight there for that final podium position. The incident caused by Aldous Spectacularus behind, who's still running a P5. He's under attack from Daniel Morris, who's currently in 6th. Here they are now scrapping away, heading into Canada Corner. And it looks like Daniel Morris may possibly have that position ahead of Aldous Spectacularus as they pass a bit of traffic here. And they all make it through cleanly. Behind them, it's Xavier Sanchez, who has lost a lot of time repairing the damage from his incident. Craig Ridley, Jason Brassfield, and Fabio Aoki round out the top 10. Brassfield started in P21. What a brilliant jump for him throughout this race.
Second place is pitting, by the way. They're coming in for their fuel.
Yep, so Julian Dunn makes a pit stop here. And into the pit lane. Hopefully a quick stop for him, and hopefully he doesn't reach into too much traffic.
Yeah, one can only hope it should. Looking at the track map right now, there might be 1 or 2 cars, but you know what? For the most part, there really shouldn't be any time, any trouble to do it. So we'll continue our way down.
Yeah, so he currently finds his way in P4. Ruotsalainen enters the pit lane. So does Spectacularus. They're all getting fuel now at the 50% distance mark in this event. So we'll have a look here if actually how this will go. It was a very quick pit stop there for Julian Dunn. So he's out and away in clean air. And this will be very important now to see where Guillermo Valenzuela will pop out. Will he actually get the advantage here, or will the fresh rubber for Julian Dunn, if he did indeed take tires, will the fresh rubber really play to his advantage here on this outlap?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's taking tires. A bit like the Skip Barber 2K series.
Yeah.
There's no tires. But either way, though, from what it's 15 seconds. Yeah, that's all just fuel. Yeah, these cars they certainly do have crews and everything like that. But I'm pretty confident, anyways, that they just come in, get some fuel added to the machine, and out and away. That's exactly what's happened. But either way, yeah. Good pit stop, I have to say, from Julian Dunn. But Petri Ruotsalainen had a very quick pit stop. And actually, Xavier Sanchez, he only had a 12.5-second pit stop, as well as Fabio Aoki's 10-second pit stop. And, of course, that was many, many laps ago. But either way, yeah, pit stops are coming. Here comes the leader.
Yep, there's Valenzuela into the pit lane, joined by Jake Feinerman. It's such a tricky pit entry here with a bump on the middle of the uphill section. Daniel Morris continues though, and he may possibly lead a lap next time around. And they all into the box here. Valenzuela, this is the battle we're looking for. Who's going to end up in the lead at the end of this lap? Julian Dunn's coming out of the final corner. Boy, this is going to get close, Cam.
It certainly is. Let's see where that 26 car comes. Oh, 26 car is going to be way ahead, I feel, as out there comes Valenzuela. And actually, I might have called that a little wrong, because here comes Julian Dunn just ahead. And actually, I believe Valenzuela has managed to pull ahead by a couple of seconds.
And Dunn's pushing it too far. He's run wide on the exit onto the grass. You saw some dust being kicked up into the air. And now Dunn is over a second behind for sure. Look at the amount of car lengths he's got to make up. So Daniel Morris leads at the moment, but he's yet to make his pit stop. Jake Feinerman and Ruotsalainen still battling after the pit phase. Here they go into turn 3. Ruotsalainen on the outside, but he has no room to sweep back up the inside of Jake Feinerman, and they pick it up on the exit, and Peteri's going to look for a slipstream here.
Yeah, and it's just continuing battles right now as it looks like Ruotsalainen, he's on the outside of Feinerman. But your leaders, I'm still just so surprised at how much of a difference in time there was, as Feinerman will take corner number 5. here on lap number 15 of this motor race. But yeah, just a surprise there to see it as the rest of the field is coming in. Brenton Parker, I see him in pit lane. He'll stop in his style. Jason Brassfield will come in and get his work done, as Fabio Aoki as well.
Yep, so they all continue. Aoki out of the pit lane in his beautiful livery. Love it. So he continues away. Let's see if Daniel Morris finally enters the pit lane. There's 19 minutes remaining in this event. And Morris, the leader, enters the pit. So effectively our leader now is Guillermo Valenzuela, who should reclaim another lap later. Well, Morris will cross the line and lead the lap, I'm sure. So he will get, I don't know, there's no bonus points anyway. It's week 13, right? So it's just
thumbs up. I got a thumbs up.
You get a big Facebook thumbs up on that. So they all continue away here. That battle between... I'm sick of this battle between Feynman and Ruotsalainen. Every time I look, they're scrapping away. And I'm losing my voice. It's not good. I'm doing a Murray Walker.
That's good. Let it all go, because that's what we're here for. It's for a great cause for Ava's race against cancer here, against her fight against neuroblastoma. But you know what? That's the thing about these Pro Mazda races. They are typically they're very quick, and my goodness, do they always put on a good show.
What's your favorite car track combination with the Pro Mazda? Don't say Watkins Glen. I know that's your home track, but what is it?
I mean, this track runs very well. I haven't raced it in a while. I will say, when I was racing at Watkins Glen, it was an extremely fun time because you constantly have, you know, a ton of cars. And Watkins Glen is kind of a boring track when you're just driving by yourself, as the battle for positioning still going on. And actually, Xavier Sanchez, for all the issues that he has, is actually catching right on back up. That's a stunning effort from Xavier Sanchez. But either way, I think these Pro Mazda cars, they can go good anywhere you put them, and that's almost one of the big reasons why I like them. You set the car up, you make minimal changes depending on the track, and actually here comes Xavier Sanchez around the lap car of David Wellborn Jr., and you can just send it anywhere to any track. You can send it to a Roval. You can send it to Bathurst if you really were interested in it. It would be a good time, I'm sure. But you can go anywhere with these cars, and it doesn't take much to set them up, and that's one of the reasons why I like the Pro Mazda, and probably why, even after so many years, and the competition car, the Renault 2.0, has been released, it still has a popular community.
Yeah, exactly. And so now branded, it used to be known as the Star Mazda, now branded as the Pro Mazda. Same thing, different car. There is a new car coming out though, possibly in the future, Karen, for the Pro Mazda series, and we'll see if that gets released maybe sometime next year. I don't know if you heard news about that.
No, not at all, but you know what? You never know. Oh, the new Pro Mazda car. Yes. The brand new Pro Mazda car. It's basically, it's not an Indy's Lights car, but...
Potatoes PM18.
Yeah, and so it's 2018 open wheel car. It's actually nice to take away from the race that we're watching here, but it's actually nice to see how well open wheel is doing in North America right now. IndyCar seems to be getting stronger. IndyCar is taking for drivers who were in Formula One, who, if they had maybe better chassis, better team or something like that, they might have done better. And they're bringing Alexander Rossi just won at Watkins Glen like last week. So you know, plus he'd won the Indianapolis 500. So IndyCar is going strong. The ladder for IndyCar is going strong, as the battle between Petri and Jake Feinerman is still going strong, which is great to see. I'm just waiting for Xavier Sanchez and Putaklis and Craig Ridley to start catching up, as well as Daniel J. Morris, two guys who have really been getting dragged along by these fast guys due to the nature of the draft.
Yeah, Putaklis and Ridley started outside the top 10, so they made their way up into 6th and 7th, respectively. I love Jake Feinerman's livery, though. It's like a shade of black and white on that early 2000s Ferrari of Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello. We know Rubens Barrichello, Cam, is around iRacing a lot.
That word, by the way. We'll get in trouble.
Oh, okay. So,
the car Rubens from Italy.
Yes. Look at Feinerman, though, here. He's got a shot on Ruotsalainen heading into Canada corner. This was the scene Particular's accident earlier, and he's right behind. Here they are, still going for the switchback. Is Ruotsalainen. He's going to have to concede P3 though for now. It doesn't mean the battle is over.
Valenzuela has crashed. Valenzuela has crashed.
Oh, Guillermo Valenzuela from the lead. He's entered the pit lane, and that's handed and gifted a sure victory for Julian Dunn at this point in time. Valenzuela, that car's done. Demolished is that Pro Mazda. And where did he lose it? Let's have a look at the replay cam, and look at that. It's the corner that catches everybody out. It was Bill Mitchell Bend.
Which is so easy to do, but I didn't realize this, but Julian Dunn had passed for the lead. It was a fairly straightforward pass, but Valenzuela was trying to keep up to Julian Dunn. Dunn was up ahead, and then, of course, yeah, you've just lost the car, and I can say I have done that myself, the exact car, the exact corner, and it is so easy to do. You just get the curbing, you get the grass, and you can see how the front of his car lifts over that little curbing, and then once you're in the air, you buff it over that curbing, and you lose it. Typically what you try to do is spin out to the right, because otherwise you're going to jam it into the left-hand wall, but very unfortunate for Valenzuela. But you know what? When he did his pit stop, it's not like he needed to use the fast repair, so he had the fast repair, so he didn't even lose that much.
Yep, exactly. So Julian Dunn, 22 seconds ahead in the lead at the moment. And now there are 2 spots remaining on that podium. And for a bit of taste of champagne here for Ava's race against cancer, currently Xavier Sanchez, Petteri Ruotsalainen, Jake Feineman, Aldous Pateklis, Craig Ridley, Daniel Morris, all in contention for those final podium positions. And what about Xavier Sanchez, Cam? He's found his way up into P2 and ahead of Ruotsalainen and Feineman. How about that?
Just like that. And you know what? I think there's too much of a gap between Julian Dunn and Xavier Sanchez. But for Sanchez to recover from this incident, to really come in and attack, especially with that red, white, and blue helmet of his, I appreciate that for sure. But it's so good looking. But it's just a good race here, because we've got a situation where we've had all these incidents from position 2 all the way back to, what is it, to position 7, everyone's nose to tail.
Yeah, so brilliant stuff there. And so down the order anyway, after, well, Valenzuela is now on P8 after that repair. Is Kyle Burns P9, Will Sutton P10, then we have Fabio Aoki, Jason Brassfield P11 and 12, Ryan Cullen P13, Brenton Parker, who we'll speak about in a second, Cam, who's done a lot in the organization of this event. He's currently in P14. The rest of your runners, Anthony Sampson, Ron Wallace, Jim Lakey, Eric Yeager, Jason Wallet, Fabrice Boyson, Hayden Gober, David Wellborn Jr., Joshua Theodore, Matt Schaefer in P24. He's actually currently in the pit lane, and he's out of the event. He's the first runner at the moment out of the event. The rest of the drivers, Gabriel Perez, we know, who was involved in the incident earlier, he's out of the event. Alan Jolly, Don Bowden, Louis Zambelli, Douglas Woodside, and Liam Kerr earlier on in the event, no longer running at the moment in the field. But it was Brenton Parker, Cam, who's done so much in the organization of this event, and we have to give credit to him where credit's due.
Oh, absolutely. And I also like to point out some of the other cars that are kind of running on their own. They could, that Joshua Theodore, he's just running that number 97 car. He's the final running car right now, but you know what? That's okay. Any incident that anyone else has, he'll manage to pull up on ahead, and so it's great to see cars like that. I do like the checkered paint schemes, as right now I think the leading group is really starting to pick up at this point.
Yep, it is. So Julian Dunn, one hand on the trophy so far, unless he bends it the same way Valenzuela did, although he doesn't really have to push anyway at the moment. He can go for the next 10 minutes as we approach that 10-minute mark. He can just take it easy. But the battle for the final 2 podium positions now, it's no longer P3. Feineman and Ruotsalainen, these 2 are villains now in this race. Just constantly scrapping. Here they go into turn 1 again. Cam, is it going to get feisty? No. And there's a lap car ahead. This is going to be, oh, how close is that? And who was that? It's very, very slow there on the exit. It's Jason Wallet. He just had nowhere to go.
No, and he's just trying to be polite and let everyone through, doing an extremely good job. He got close to the grass, but didn't touch it. That's what we like to see. So for Jason Wallett, a very good job from the New Jersey driver to let everybody right on through.
Yep, here they come. So Jason, who's in that number 14 Pro Mazda, just lets everybody through cleanly. That's the way to do it for all you kids watching out there. And he's not caused any trouble, really. He just had nowhere to go because turn 1's so tight there, Cam. And then pretty much turn 3 at Road America, it's almost, I'd like to think it's exactly the same as turn 1, just slightly slower and much tighter.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation where you have to take the corner at your speed, but if your speed's slower than everyone else, there's a car that's spun around. It's Petteri Ruotsalainen. What has happened to the 69? It looks okay. The car looks okay. Did he lose it off on his own? Yes, he did. He caught it. He turned a little early. He had way more traction than he was ready for. Counter-steered. And once he started going, he was gone. So either way, Ruotsalainen, he's managed to pull the car out and around. No problems there, but he has lost quite a bit of space between him and the rest of the field.
Yeah, so I'd like to call it a tank slapper, but with 8 minutes remaining in the event, there's hardly any fuel left. So Ruotsalainen, as he's going to have to lament that. He's been up there for the podium positions, and he's got work to do here. He's going to have to Rihanna this the rest of this race, Cam. He's going to have to work. That's the worst thing I've ever said, but I thought it came up at the right time.
No!
No, don't make me feel bad. I already said it. There's no rewind. This is live.
I know that's the best time. No, I would have to say that number 26 car. I was rolling and done. 23-second gap, and it is increasing. So you know what? I'd have to say that unless something happens, that car is off in the sunset and enjoying already. But either way, Xavier Sanchez, he's done an amazing effort, I have to think, to recover from that incident. And Jake Feinerman, he's now the one on the prowl.
Yep, and Putekilis and Ridley behind. They're in a scrap here. And look how close this is going to get. Oh, there's Putekilis around the outside. Brilliant pass. And picks it up on the exit. And he's got into P4. He's got about 3 seconds to make up on Xavier Sanchez in front. We know Sanchez overtaken by Jake Feinerman. Cam was just speaking about that. Behind them, no Daniel Morris, very, very close. And Ruotsalainen has about 6 seconds to make up after his error. And that was at turn 8 after the hurry down. So Petteri Ruotsalainen has to lament that unfortunate spin there. Back behind P11 and 12, it's Jason Brassfield, Will Sutton. They're very, very close here towards the end of the event. And behind Ryan Cullen, Brenton Parker also very, very close towards the end of this race. P19 and P20. Fabrice Boyson could find himself down into P20 if Jason Wallett can make his way past. And Jason, we know, Cam, has been it's very, very tricky making or letting leading cars through, and especially at Road America.
It's a skill for sure. But I will say 6 minutes on the nose left of the Ava's Fight for Cancer Week 13 community race for fundraising money for Ava. So either way, it's running. It's looking like it's going to run pretty good because Feinerman, this fight for the podium is going to be exciting. And if any one of them trip up, there is literally a swarm of other Pro Mazda drivers that are ready to take the rest of this podium here in this Week 13 event.
Yeah, it goes Abio. What's he going to do? Surely some Spanish swear words after that crash earlier with Putekilis. But he keep it clean anyway, and we're not going to broadcast it if he did. So heading into turn 3, there's Feinerman with a good exit, but Sanchez has the gift of the draft here, heading under the bridge through turn 4. And Sanchez looked to back off there. He's lost a lot of time, so Sanchez just maybe seemed to back off the throttle, Cam. Not sure why.
Maybe you didn't have enough fuel, or alternatively, you know what, sometimes you want to maybe work on catching the car in front of you, or alternatively, you don't want to risk it. There's only a certain amount of time left, which means there's only a certain amount of laps left, which means that if he goes and he attacks, he might actually end up in the cycle to where he's in front on the last lap, which is something that he might not want to do, or alternatively, maybe he just wasn't getting a good vibe out of it.
But he hasn't timed it right, because look, he's about almost a second behind now of Jake Feinerman. So He stuffed up something there. Oh, Craig Ridley spun in the number 10. And that's at the same corner. And Ruotsalainen goes past. So Ruotsalainen's probably having a bit of a smirk that he's not the only one who's binned it there at turn 8. An unfortunate spin for him.
Well, both cars are
and sorry, more cars off. Sorry, Cam. Brassfield Sutton, that turn 1 incident there. Oh, goodness me. So, more incidents there. And that was the number 20.
Lost it.
Brassfield. Yep, he lost it. Not good.
I will say, he lost the rear, which is just something so easy to do. With how wide these cars are, you wouldn't think that that would happen, but he just lost it. And unfortunately, Will Sutton had literally nowhere he could go, and then he ended up going into the wall. So unfortunately, Will Sutton, his day will be finished, that number 54 car. So, oh well, I'm sorry, but either way, I think I just heard probably the strangest sound I have heard from Julian Dunn. I didn't hear the engine running as they went down the backstretch, and then they let off the throttle. So, I mean, there's a 25-second gap, but I worry that Dunn might be running out of fuel.
Uh-oh. And so he did make the pit stop a lap earlier, remember, from Guillermo Valenzuela. Now he has 25 seconds here, Cam, with 3 minutes remaining in Ava's race against Cancer. So that's plenty of time to back off and save fuel. So he should know this. He should have the calculations. He should be doing this as he's racing. And obviously we know how skilled these drivers are. They can do it. So he just has to really make sure that he doesn't get himself in a bit of a pickle here. Anthony Sampson, Jason Brassfield, though, in P13 and 14. Brassfield closing in. He was involved in that incident earlier at turn 1. Look at him go. Throw it up the inside, Jason. But he thinks better of it. And with 2.5 minutes remaining, everybody's going to start to be desperate here towards the end of the event for Ava's Race Against Cancer, the Week 13 special event. Here we go, Cam. Only a couple laps remaining.
Yeah, only a couple of laps indeed, and I do mean that quite literally. There are 2 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock, which means we'll get this lap and then 1 lap after this. At least I'm pretty sure that's how this is going to work.
Possibly. Yeah,
well, actually, now it's a drag race. It's 2 minutes and 13, 2 minutes and 12, 2 minutes and 10, 2 minutes and 11.
So here's a suggestion for you. It looks like Julian Dunn will cross the line next time around with about 5 seconds remaining. Is he going to back off this lap and possibly realize and say, I'm running out of fuel. I might as well finish this race a little bit earlier. And it's not going to be good for the fans, but it'll be good for Julian Dunn to take the win.
Well, it might be good for the fans. We don't know, because if they go the extra lap, what happens if they all wreck? But either way, no, I will say the battle for P2 is kicking off. Jake Feinerman is going side by side with Xavier Sanchez. And they will go into corner number 1, side by side, somewhat, not all the way, but yeah, there they go. I will say it wouldn't surprise me if we don't run another lap. Julian Dunn, it was about maybe 10 seconds on the ticker when they cross the start-finish line. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yep, so the gap now, though, Dunn hasn't backed off, so he wants to do the extra lap. Let's have a look at that. We'll keep one eye on that anyway, because there are some battles to end this race. At the moment, the battle for the final podium position. Sanchez, Feinerman, Aldous Putekilis. They're all in a good fight here for that final taste of champagne. Feinerman runs wide on the exit there of turn 5. And he almost lost it. That got a bit hair-raising. Putekilis behind wasn't close enough to capitalize. Daniel Morris looks all set for P5. Ruotsalainen and Ridley, though, alongside each other into 6. Ruotsalainen here trying to really make his feelings a little bit better with 30 seconds remaining after that spin earlier on at this corner coming up, turn number 8. That's not enough, though. Let's have a look, though, at Julian Dunn to end the lap. Is he going to continue for one more lap? Because this could possibly be the last lap, or it could be 2 laps to go. He still continues, speeding away across the main straight. Now he's going full throttle, Cam. Looks like this will be the second to last lap, and now Julian Dunn decides, hey, let's have one more lap in this event as we wave the white flag and begin the final lap.
Went across with 7 seconds remaining in the motor race. So 7 seconds Julian Dunn could have crossed with the checkered in hand, but They want to go around one more time. They want to get the full show for Ava's Fight for Cancer here for neuroblastoma fundraising. But I have to say, that means that we're going to have one more lap here, one more chance for Jake Feinerman, one more chance for Uldis Putiglis and Daniel J. Morris to make themselves through, as well as one more lap with Petri Ruotsalainen and Craig Ridley as they fight for position as well. So, Johnny, you've got one more time around Road America. It's going to be a good one.
It is going to be a good one. Let's have a look at Ruotsalainen. Up the inside, he was on the dirtier line in the braking zone. On the exit, though, leaves plenty of room for Craig Ridley. And looks like he's clean P6 ahead of Craig there. So good stuff for Petteri Ruotsalainen, who's had an eventful race. I don't think he's ever had a lap in clean air, apart from the couple after his spin. Ridley, though, here, going for the fight back. On the outside, heading into the marine sweep at turn 5. Downhill braking zone. Don't muck it up, boys. Here they come alongside each other again. Ruotsalainen confident on the brakes, and he snatches P6 back from Craig Ridley. So good stuff from him. Let's have a look at Julian Dunn, though. He's coming towards Canada corner for the final time this race, and it's been such a good event for Julian Dunn. Lost the lead for a couple of laps. He's led 21 out of 24 laps so far. He will lead another one, and we'll end this 50-minute event. Good stuff from Julian Dunn. He's woken up in the early mornings here in Australia, and he runs wide on the exit of the final corner just to get us a bit dramatic here to end the event. But Julian Dunn wins Ava's Race Against Cancer, the Week 13 special event for the Pro Mazda Championship. What a victory for Julian Dunn. We have to wait quite a while for Xavier Sanchez in P2, and that battle is very, very close between himself and Jake Feinerman to end the lap. But it looks like Xavier Sanchez, let's have a look out of the final corner. All clean, full throttle. Is he going to run out of fuel? Nope. He's full throttle, and he should claim second place. Feinerman rounds out the podium here. Brilliant race from Jake Feinerman. He's been involved everywhere and anywhere. And behind them is Uldis Putiglis, who can only be happy with P4 for this event. Daniel Morris, though, good stuff from him. Started in P9, climbs his way up into P5. We have problems for Ruotsalainen in the 69. He spun. Oh, goodness me. It's gone from bad to worse for Petteri Ruotsalainen on the final lap. And that gifts Craig Ridley P6. Valenzuela ends up P7, but there we go, Cam. Ruotsalainen spin.
It wasn't just a spin. He lost to all his own on the final corner and then hit the inside wall.
Oh, goodness me. He ran wide. That's what I was saying. We saw that with Julian Dunn, the leader. Lucky it didn't happen to Julian Dunn. Ruotsalainen still hasn't crossed the line. Come on, Petteri.
Oh, they can do it.
Is he going to make it? Yes! Crosses the line. And he ends up in P7. So I'm just over dramatizing that. But Aoki just behind comes home in P9 it is for Fabio Aoki. Michael Calburn rounds out the top 10. We did mention Guillermo Valenzuela there, Cam, who comes home in P7. And remember, he was involved in that incident earlier on with Uldis Putiglis. And the rest of the drivers on the lead lap coming through. Brenton Parker now, and he will come home in 11th. So good race from him, starting in 12th. Ryan Cullen, though, started in P29. What a finishing position for him. Finishes in 12th. Jason Brassfield behind in the lovely livery there. The old classic orange and green. He'll come home in 13th. And what an event, Cam. Before we look at the results, I mean, Julian Dunn, brilliant victory. It's all for a good cause, though, for Ava Sierra Deal, who's suffering from, well, she's been diagnosed recently with neuroblastoma cancer. And I've been thoroughly enjoyed this one.
Yeah, this race was always going to be a good one. A little bit, it's a little bit of a relaxed atmosphere. You still want to race as hard as you can, but it's for a good cause. Each one of these drivers, every single one of them, donating at the very least $10 to the fundraiser, to the GoFundMe page, which is of course in the description here and the YouTube channel. But either way, it was a good race. Lots of battling. These Pro Mazda cars, I forgot how fun they are. Cars, they're agile. They've got enough of an engine. They've got just enough downforce. They put on a superb show here at the legendary Road America. Yep,
let's have a look at the results for Ava's Race Against Cancer, the Week 13 special event for the Pro Mazda Championship. Julian Dunn takes victory after 51 minutes and 56 seconds, just ahead of Xavier Sanchez, who started this race on the second row. He ends up in P2. Rounding out the podium was Jake Feinerman. He was in battles throughout the event and finally comes home in P3, one of the sole survivors of that crash earlier on that Aldous Puticus was involved in, but Aldous keeps it together. He started outside of the top 10 and claims a good result in P4. Behind him, it's Daniel Morris quietly making his way up into the top 5. Behind them, Craig Ridley snatched P6 away from Petteri Ruotsalainen after his spin. Behind him was Guillermo Valenzuela, who repaired his car back out onto the racetrack and still claimed P7, under a minute from Julian Dunn in the lead. So good comeback from Guillermo Valenzuela. We know what happened to Ruotsalainen. Clean race up until those final 10 minutes. He only ends up in P8 after that late crash. Surprised he only lost 2 positions after that late crash. It could have been much worse if the drivers behind were closer. Rounding out the top 10, Fabio Aoki, Michael Calburn. I haven't spoken about Michael much this race, but he's quietly made his way up from P15 to P10. Brenton Parker, who's done so much in the organization of this event, comes home in P11, and we know how much he does along with Martin Arnoldus, working behind the scenes for the Pro Mazda community. So shout out to them for what is a great event for week 13. All the rest of the drivers on the lead lap, Ryan Cullen, Jason Brassfield, and everybody else coming home within 1 or 2 laps. Anthony Sampson, Eric Yeager, Hayden Gober, Ron Wallace, Jason Wallet, Jim Lakely, Will Sutton, late race dramas, comes home in P20. David Wellborn Jr., Fabrice Boyson, Matt Schaefer and Joshua Theodore. And then we have our DNFs for this event. Gabriel Perez involved in the incidents earlier on. Same for Alan Jolly, Don Bowden, Lewis Zambelli. He looked to be running well earlier on in the event. Only out quite early on. Douglas Woodside and Liam Kerr also involved in a crash. So 30-car grid out there, Cam, and definitely very, very good racing. Loved it today. Give us your final thoughts.
I thought it was a very good race. Wish that it was there were less fewer incidents because I think we could have had some great running. But you know what? When you've got P2 all the way back to almost P10 right with each other, that is a very good day. We saw great battles in almost every section of this 4-mile circuit at Road America, and then you got to see a dominant Julian Dunn absolutely storm, and it really showed just how fast they are. And I have to say, it was an absolute pleasure to be a part of this.
Yep, so Ava Sierra Deal, she's been diagnosed with neuroblastoma cancer, and this form of cancer, for those that don't know, it's most commonly found in young children, and if it's caught early enough, it is treatable. So that's a good sign, and any donations that you could spare would be really greatly appreciated to help this family in their time of need. And the donations will be used to help with medical costs, travel, and any further costs to the family needs to cover the help and deal with this unfortunate situation. You can, of course, donate using the GoFundMe link in the YouTube description below. So check that out and definitely contribute if you can. It's been such a great event, Cam, and we spoke about it earlier. Never a good sign for such a young person in this world to suffer from such dramatic issues. But there's always a positive end to some of these stories, and we hope that this is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, if we any help is better. You know, I just think that no matter what the issue, there's always going to be one thing that the family should not have to wonder about, and that's money, quite frankly. And when people donate, that helps lift a little bit off of their shoulders. I think there isn't a single person that hasn't been touched by something like cancer. But either way, Johnny, we'll hand it to you.
Yep, so I'm here with the number 14 of Jason Wallet, who came home in P18 in this event. And Jason, what an event we had. How was your race?
It was pretty good, all right. In advance, I apologize for my headset. I know it's bad. Coming into... hang on.
Fix the headset, come on.
Hang on, I just need to... Oh, yeah. Coming into the first six on the first lap, some guy came up in front of me and he just he smashed the brakes, and I went red for it. It was pretty sorry. It was pretty I'm not about this. Hang on.
It's all right. Yeah, it was a pretty hectic start to say the least. But I mean, either way though, finishing I mean an 18th position after starting in 23rd, it's not too bad of a day.
Yeah, that guy was we weren't in the braking zone yet, and then when he braked, I tried to brake to avoid contact, but then bam, he gets into the grass, then I get him front wing. I stopped running the pit road on lap 10 to try and undercut the field and get that damage fixed, and then I pretty much went back on my race. So P18's not really that bad. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for hopping in. Wish, of course, your headset thing was working, but you know what? Either way, thanks for hopping in, and we'll see you later.
Anytime.
Thanks, Jason, who's joined us, Cam, for the end of this race, and it's been a good one here this afternoon. And we'll have to wrap up though, because we know that next season, Pro Mazda, they're ready to go for week 1, Mid-Ohio, isn't it? And a brilliant track car combo.
Yeah, it's most certainly waiting for some individuals. But you know what, though? After the race, they're probably just going on and doing what they need to do. So either way, we'll go on and do what we need to do. And I think, Jonathan Simone, we are going to start wrapping up our coverage here of the Week 13 special event.
Yep, definitely. Now, we do have the ADAC Sim Trophy taking place next weekend, along with another round of the Blanc 1 GT Series, which took place, actually, was it 12 hours ago, Hugo? I think. I wasn't watching. I'm conceding. So anyway, that was on. You can check it all on the archives on demand, or you can see the Sim Expo ADAC Sim Trophy next weekend. Check the RaceSpot website for more information at RaceSpot.tv for more information, as well as YouTube, iRacing Live, the iRacing forums too. We know that the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series will be heading to the Nürburgring the week after that. And let's see if Martin Kroenke can wrap up the title in his home country and track. That's another accomplishment that could be achieved in what's really been a season of historic records for Martin. But main news for Pro Mazda. In just a few days' time, Season 4 will commence with Week 1 action taking place on the 12th of September exact date. And that's for 22 laps around Mid-Ohio. We stay tuned for that, of course, on the iRacing members page. Thanks to Hugo Luis in production behind the scenes. I'm Jonathan Simon alongside Cam Walsh for this event. Thanks to all the viewers here today. And this has been AFA's Race Against Cancer, a Week 13 special event broadcasted on RaceSpotTV. So we say so long from Road America.